Hi everyone, this is Heather. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I've got a card tutorial for you and we're going to be making this fun pouch card for Valentine's Day. On the front of the card I've made a little pouch and inside you could put some hot cocoa mix or a thin little candy bar, and then there's also a separate little tag that they could use just to hang around the house, use it as a bookmark or anything like that. I'm going to be using the Happy Tales stamp set from Stampin' Up, along with several of the dies from the Be Mine Stitch Framelits dies, also from Stampin' Up. The base of my card is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of craft colored cardstock, cut, scored, and folded in half. I have some white cardstock for stamping. For die cutting, I've got some craft cardstock and some Calypso Coral. I'm using some Calypso Coral plaid paper from the Subtles Designer Series papers. One piece has been cut to 5 1/4 by 4. Another piece has been cut to 4 by 2. And I also have another piece of craft cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. Using the largest and smallest of the stitched heart dies, I've cut them both out twice from craft and Calypso Coral cardstock. So on the smaller one, I'm using the craft inside, the coral outer heart. From the larger, I'm using the Calypso Coral solid heart with the craft outer scallop heart. Then I've also kept the solid heart to trace from. So I'm going to place this heart on a piece of Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to use it kind of like a stencil and just lightly trace around. With that traced out, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around the heart and leave about 1/4 of an inch around the pencil marks that I drew. And the reason that I did this is so on the back of my heart, my little scallops would have something that I could adhere them down to. So I've cut the heart out, leaving that little bit of a border. With a glue pen, I'm going to apply some glue to the back of the craft scallop. I'm just doing this on a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to bring my heart over. And I found that it's kind of easiest to start at the point and just line that up kind of on the line. If it's not perfectly on the line, it's not going to matter. We're going to go in and erase that. So just press that down really well, and that just gives a backing for that scallop to grab onto. If you have any pencil lines showing, just take your eraser and erase those away. So with that adhered down, I wanted to add just the little stitch lines, which is what these dies do. They don't cut anything out, they just add stitch marks. So I'm just going to take some repositionable tape and tape those in place and run them through my die cutting machine. And that adds that nice texture of faux stitch line. The last thing that I'm going to die cut is my little strip of plaid paper, and I'm using the scallop edge. I'm just going to tape that along the long edge of this piece and run that through my machine. And here's that pretty edge. Using black memento ink, I'm going to stamp out the dog and the open heart on my white cardstock. With chocolate chip ink, I'm going to stamp the spots on my dog. I'm just going to line up those clear stamps and add those spots. Also with the chocolate chip, I'm going to stamp Just For You in the smallest of the craft hearts. And I'm also going to add a paw at the bottom of that point of the heart. And on the Calypso Coral heart, I'm just going to randomly stamp a few paw prints around. Next, using Calypso Coral ink, I'm going to take the solid heart and fill in the outline. And I'm also going to add a collar to the dog. So this set does have a coordinating punch that will punch out the heart and the dog. I don't have it, so I'm just going to use my scissors and cut everything out, leaving just a little bit of an outline. So I've cut these out and I've placed a small glue dot on the back of the heart. I'm just going to hang that from the collar of the dog. I've placed foam tape on the back, and I'm going to center him on this largest heart. Using a hole punch, I'm going to punch a hole at the top of my heart. I've got a piece of pink baker's twine, and I'm going to run that through and just tie a knot just so that I have a loop at the top of the heart. Take my scissors and just trim off those ends. I'm going to take a second piece and run that through the hole. And then I'm just going to tie a bow at the top. And also trim off those ends. And here's our finished tag. To assemble the card, I've placed tape runner on the back of this largest piece of plaid. I'm going to adhere that to the center of my card base. The piece that we added the scallop to gets adhered to the smaller piece of craft. I've also applied tape runner to the back of this smallest craft heart. I'm going to kind of angle it on the bottom of that smaller panel. Again, with the glue pen, I'm going to add some glue around the scalloped edge, not all the way to the top because a little bit of this is going to hang off the top. And I'm just going to piece that around. On the back of this smaller piece, I'm going to apply some strips of foam tape, and I want one just across the bottom edge and down both sides. And that's going to form our little pocket. I've peeled off the backing tape, and I'm going to line that up along the bottom edge of my card. And this is basically just the base of the card, and you can tuck inside whatever you'd like. Like I said, a little pack of hot cocoa fits perfectly. You could also do like a skinny chocolate bar, and then also tuck your little dog tag in. And this is our finished card. I think this is a really fun project to make for classroom or office, just a fun little gift to give for Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to check out my channel and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!